Alright, welcome to the LCS recap for week 3. It's been a great week. We saw some spicy stuff like Zillion tops and the first Silas pick, and it was a really fun week of League of Legends, and I super enjoyed it. And it was actually pretty hard to pick, but I went good. I went 8-2 in picks, so I'm enjoying myself. If you like any part of this video, do consider liking me on the different social media stuff. I am trying to become a professional showcaster, so doing so does help me out because I'm trying to apply for different gigs and different opportunities, and having a bigger social media profile will just help me out there. So enough with that, and on with the show. Alright, so here are our week 3 standings. Team Liquid still stays on top with wins over FlyQuest and Optic, so they're 6-0. Cloud9 hold the spot at second place, going 2-0 this week over TSM and Clutch Gaming for them to be 4-2 with their records. The teams now sitting at 3-3 are 100 Thieves as they go 2-0. They win against Clutch Gaming and CLG. FlyQuest lose both their games against Team Liquid and EchoFox, while Counter Logic Gaming are able to split their games, go a win against EchoFox and a loss against 100 Thieves, and EchoFox themselves, they lose to CLG and win against FlyQuest and now sit at 3-3. So that kind of ends up being your middle of the pack teams, I guess. They're over in third place, tied for third. I will say this order, by the way, on this list is actually a little bit random. This is not actually determining. Later on, there's my tier list that actually go over where I actually think teams are in terms of strength, but the actual order is a little bit random. So our last place teams, all our 7th place teams here. Clutch Gaming lose both their games. They're now sitting at 2-4 after losses to 100 Thieves and Cloud9. Team Solo Mid also go 0-2, now sitting at 2-4. They lost to Cloud9 and Golden Guardians. Optic Gaming 2-4 as they lost both their games to Golden Guardians and Team Liquid. And Golden Guardians, though, the 1-2-4 team that won both their games, because of course they were 0-4 before that, they won against Optic and Team Solo Mid. So lots of kind of like a bit of a shake-up here. Lots of teams that were just like suddenly at the bottom are now kind of climbing up. Golden Guardians is now tied with all those teams while previously being in the super basement. So really interesting stuff. Let's go through it over game by game. As you can see here, my week 3 picks, I did go 8-2. Did pretty good. Day 1, I was perfect. Day 2, less than perfect, but still overall 8-2 record. Pretty happy with it. Let's talk about these game by game. So I picked 100 Thieves to win against Clutch Gaming. I did kind of take a gamble in here and say, hey, I think the 100 Thieves are going to have their first 2 a week. I picked them and I was rewarded for it. Clutch Gaming just not looked super good this week in general. They like I said earlier in the top of the show, the Zillion pick does come out for them. They try to do the Zillion with Spell Thieves and just use the Spell Thieves procs and not CS at all to keep up in gold, and it kind of worked. And I hated it as a support player, because all I was thinking, man, now they're just going to nerf Spell Thieves because solo laters keep ruining it for everybody else. For the supports. They keep ruining it for supports. But I actually really like what Riot did with it. They basically just made it so you needed to have a ally near you in order to get the proc from Spell Thieves. So that does balance it out. And they actually increased the amount of gold you get from Spell Thieves. So they actually buffed it in a way for supports specifically. So stop using our items, laners! Get out of here! Anyway, moving on from that, FlyQuest and TL go up head-to-head. FlyQuest put up a fight. That's about it. Team Liquid wins that game. Cloud9 versus Team Solo Mid. We see the Silas come out for Cloud9, and boy, did it do wonders here. Cloud9 just dominating this one. CLG pick up a big win against EchoFox. EchoFox not super impressing me kind of in general overall. It's kind of a bit, if you're kind of a... They win their game against FlyQuest, which that alone was pretty impressive, but just not a super great game from them as CLG is able to take that one. And boom! Golden Guardians with their first win against Optic. Optic using their intended starting roster finally, and it just kind of didn't seem to click. They didn't look very good out there, whereas, like, you know, week 1, maybe that week 1 roster was their best roster. I don't know. There's a lot of questions for Optic Gaming as they kind of continue through the week, so Golden Guardians win that one there. So FlyQuest, they have their first 0-2 week, like I mentioned earlier. They do lose to EchoFox, and FlyQuest just got some shot calling things to kind of a little bit answer for. I think mechanically they're kind of fine, but right now they're just kind of like slipping in a little bit, and it's not coming together. And this week, I'm hoping for them, for their sake, a team that I had placed in the top tier before as a team looking really strong. I just think they're overthinking things or something, so maybe they just gotta clean it up. Hopefully it's more of a blip on our radar for them. Cloud9 to continue rolling on. They do defeat Clutch Gaming over here in this one. So yeah, Cloud9 have their 2-0 week. Team Liquid, same thing. Again, they face against Optic. Again, you can't really blame anyone for losing to Team Liquid, because Team Liquid's so darn good. But yeah, again, Optic, they're probably a bit worried about their intended starting roster right now. Speaking of worried, one of my other picks that were wrong, Team Solo Mid, they go 0-2. They lose to Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians have their 2-0 week, so they're riding high. Froggen looks super, super strong in this one. And it's like, hey, yeah, maybe this was the team everyone kept talking about, that this team that seemed to be doing so good in scrims, now finally bringing it out on stage. So that's potentially there. And Team Solo Mid have a lot to worry about. They seem to have this right potential of going there, but it's just not quite clicking. I think their bottom lane is doing things good, and I think that's like was maybe one of the bigger worries here. But Broken Blade, despite having good solo performances in the laning phase, just isn't coming through in the mid game and the late game for me right now. So it's a bit of a worry for TSM. We'll see if they improve there. And then in our final game of the week, 100 Thieves do beat CLG. It was actually a really, really good game. I thought this last one over here, 100 Thieves, bang, coming through here. Really, really strong. Oh, I forgot to mention Sunday's performance in Clutch Gaming game. The game against Clutch Gaming was super, super strong. So those carry performances from 100 Thieves, that's the kind of stuff we expected them, and the kind of stuff that I originally placed them as a top tier team. Just showing it off there why they potentially should be one of those. So we move over to my tier list, as I was talking about, and the tier list is starting to look closer to what I originally kind of made it. So if you don't recall, you can watch the LCS preview show if you want to watch that one. But basically, 100 Thieves were originally in my top, and as well as you can flip the Golden Guardians and the FlyQuest team here to where the tier list looking like. So it's starting to now become closer to my original list, which is, you know, I wasn't expected to be completely perfect, but it's looking more like these teams are more like I'm predicting them. The biggest difference between this week and last week, of course, is Cloud9 goes up, but really that Cloud9 and FlyQuest spot, I could see them trading that spot a bunch throughout the year. CLG gets upgraded into the middle tier, but mostly because of other teams' performances, I need to put them down. So 100 Thieves do restore some confidence with me to put them back into that middle tier, and it's still less that they look great that I thought other teams looked bad. So obviously Team Solo Mid needed to move down a little bit. I don't put them in the bottom tier yet, even though they're the 2-4 team and Echo Fox is the 3-3 team here. I could have just literally just done this by standings, and that could have been it. But I'm kind of giving Team Solo Mid a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And a lot of it's because I think the potential for Team Solo Mid is still just higher than Echo Fox's. So those transitive properties, I think Team Solo Mid should still be a playoff team, where I don't think Echo Fox is. That all being said, this all can change next week. Golden Guardians, of course, move up on this list a little bit. They could start flirting with that spot TSM had. CLG, despite like an okay 1-1 week, they upgrade from the bottom tier, but again, that was more of a result of everyone wanting to move other people down. And yeah, just the super not necessarily impressed with some other teams. And Clutch Gaming and Optic, they're sitting there at the very bottom of this list. Optic, even though, like I said, maybe their week 1 roster is their best roster, or some mix of it, they haven't figured it out. But know what? We're already now a third through the split, and you start, like, obviously we can keep going back to how Cloud9 started 1-4 or whatever their record was, I can't even remember now, but bad, and they came into the playoffs. You can't expect that, right? So you're 33% done this season. This is now a decent sample size. And sure, yeah, you have had different people kind of working out on your roster, and you're trying to do the 10-man thing and switch people around, but you got to figure it out, because if you don't figure it out next week or the week after, you're past halfway through the season. In 2 more weeks, we're halfway through the season, or through the split rather. So I just think there's too many question marks, and that leaves them at the bottom. And Clutch Gaming, again, they were originally this team I had in the bottom of everything, and they're looking like I thought they were. That all being said, they could suddenly spike and win 2-0 next week, because this team's gonna be so inconsistent like that. Piglet, and everyone's gonna suddenly just rise, and Huni's gonna suddenly rise up for a game, and Demonte will come out. Anyway, I think it'll be really interesting once they're on the newest patch, though. I think that's gonna be the craziest thing and the craziest thing to watch out for. So let's move on to the week 4 schedule coming up now. and see what kind of picks we kind of have there. So our game 1, we have Team Solo Mid versus Optic Gaming. Again, it's hard to predict because TSMs look bad. Optic, who knows what roster they're going to use and whether that roster will click or will be right time for them. But Crown versus Bjergsen should be hype anyway. I have Team Solo Mid picked in that one. The next game, Golden Guardian, sorry, you're up against Team Liquid. I'm not going to bet on you, so Team Liquid, I'm just going to keep betting on you. Spoiler alert, until Team Liquid has an O2 week or something, I will just be picking Team Liquid through the rest of the split. Do I actually think they'll go 18-0? No, they'll probably eventually lose a game, but I just won't bet against it. I just won't bet that they will. That is all. So Team Liquid I have picked to win that one. Cloud9 I have picked to beat Echo Fox. And of course Echo Fox there, again, I think look a little poo-poo. I have them to do I have them to do an O2 week here. Right after I said poo-poo, I said doo-doo. That's hilarious. Echo Fox, eventually Rush will have an O2 week, and maybe it's this one. Starting with a loss to Cloud9. FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. This is like the match of the week for me. And I think it's really interesting. I guess FlyQuest looking down after an O2 week. 100 Thieves moving up after they go 2-0. Is it time for them? I'm picking FlyQuest in this one just because the greater... I don't want to base everything just on last week, how they looked last week. I believe FlyQuest potential could be up there and they could win this game versus 100 Thieves. So I have that one picked there. Counter Logic Game versus Clutch Gaming. It's kind of the opposite of TL. I'll just always bet against Clutch because it's too risky to bet on them. I just think it's too risky to bet on them. That is all. Moving on to day 2, we have 100 Thieves versus Echo Fox. I will once again pick 100 Thieves there. Once again, I think they're going to finally have that O2 week there for a Rush. I think 100 Thieves did look really good last week. And yeah, maybe I have them losing against FlyQuest. And I don't want to bet everything on how they looked. But honestly, they've gotten past the worst part of the schedule. And now are potentially maybe in the easier part where they can finally start picking up wins. And this is where I expect them to do that. Counter Logic Gaming, I have them here to get a 2-0 week. Despite me really liking Golden Guardians last week. Again, if they can start proving me wrong and winning some games again, and they can look at being in the spot where I originally had them, as a playoff team, I will be very looking forward to it. But I'll have Chronologic Gaming picked there. Spoiler, I had Team Liquid picked over TSM, but still, hype matchup. Obviously, this is a classic one with these two different teams, so that'll be fun to still watch. And TSM, if TSM could prove something here and be the team to beat Team Liquid, they will just win the hearts back of a lot of people and their own fans. You know how fickle TSM fans are. So there's a lot of potential there to see what kind of ends up happening there. But a lot of it comes down to I need to see Broken Blade kind of translate how well he's doing in lane into the later game. And I guess even the bot lane too. The bot lane who I think looked pretty darn good. We'll have to see how that goes. A lot of this too is dependent on how everyone handles the new patch. And I think Sven's going to handle the new patch pretty well, making those 80 carries super relevant. We'll see what happens there. FlyQuest I have picked against Clutch Gaming. Again, just kind of think FlyQuest outclassed them. And then I Cloud9 picked up against Optic Gaming. Another situation where I think they're just outclassed. And that's it. Thank you very much for checking out this week's episode of the LCS Recap. Where do you have your picks? Do you think I'm stupid for giving TSM the benefit of the doubt and leaving them in the middle tier when they should be a bottom tier team? Do you think they're a bottom tier team? Let me know what you think there. Let me know what you think about your picks. Do you think it's time for TL to finally lose? Do you think anything I said was wrong? Do you think I'm really wrong about Echo Fox, Clutch Gaming, and Optic? I have them as basically my bottom teams that I don't think will be looking at playoffs. But do you think they're actually a lot better than I say them? I would love to know what you think in the comments below. Of course, you can check out the last video if you've missed it. That's this way. There's, if you want to just check out what I said about week 2 and all that stuff. And you can also subscribe to the channel right there on that little button and follow me on different social media stuff. That's it. That's all the time we have for this week, and I look forward to another hype week of the LCS. See you then.